linked to the health and well-being of the animals and the natural world and their well-being. So, thank you. This is the core element here doing it, and it's really lovely to be here with you today and be able to share this with you and to share some of the research that I hope will give you more ammunition to go out there and say, I'm not making this up. This is not an emotional plea. Well, of course it's an emotional plea, but it's not solely an emotional plea, and I'm not insane. There is hard scientific evidence that supports the kind of work that you're doing, and that's what I'd like to share with you today. Now, you may know some of this already because it's been getting a lot of press recently, which is really nice for me, because for 17 years, when I started this search and this journey, it wasn't easy because there were a lot of naysayers out there. And now it's really great to see that there's a lot more, the science has rolled in, it's getting a lot more press, and now people are saying, oh, yeah, I don't know about that. Like, what? Anyway, but 15 years ago, approximately, a group of scientists started to discover that there was a complex thing going on in the brain, complex brain chemistry that actually promoted social behavior. So, it wasn't just something taught to you by your mother, although Jerry was exactly right, and I'll get back to that, how critically important it is that we nurture this spark. But that you come into the world hardwired, we are social mammals, we come in hardwired to be attracted to and to attach to other living things. It's this chemistry that supports the mother-infant bond. Now, what they found out is that the same chemistry that supports, that delivers us into the world through labor contractions and then delivers breast milk, which are the two essential things that make you a mammal, do a lot more than that. When they started noticing that the same chemical that's responsible for those two pretty impressive biological feats was also being made in every brain center that involves behavior and emotion, scientists started thinking, well, maybe it's doing more than just labor and lactation. And they started looking at in rodents and in sheep and in primates and then finally in humans, what else is it doing? And what they discovered was that the same brain chemistry that does these things also makes mothers and infants see one another, look at one another for the first time or smell one another, and bond. And it makes a lot of sense, really, because when you think about it, breast milk injection, labor contractions, delivering live birth, breast milk injection, those are fabulous. But what good is it, especially in humans, if a mother will not bend down and pick that baby up and hold it to her breast and feed it and say, I'm going to protect it, I'm going to take care of it? We would not be here as a species if that powerful urge to connect did not exist. Now, the good news is that it is in all mammals. And for the other animals out there, there are even more ancient precursor molecules just like it in birds and fish and other animals. So, and it does pretty much the same thing in them as well. But I'll talk to mammals here. So, and by the way, I've even gone beyond just thinking of us all as animals. I think of us as mammals now. I'm way down the brain stem. But, okay, so it's in all mammals. And it's a very general system of attachment. It just brings this urge up to connect, and that's why we can fire it in one another and why we connect with other living things even that are not in our species, and why, I'm sure, like me, you all get those incredible YouTube videos of the orangutan and the dog. And the lion and the lamb laying down together. It does happen. It happens all the time. And now that we have the internet, we're seeing it. I mean, I get those things every day. Some other unbelievable interspecies connection, bonding, nurturing love that just rewrites the book. And so the book is being rewritten, and here we are at the end of the decade of the 21st century, the first decade, and you're here and you are saying, this is how we're going to rewrite it. There have always been people, as I said, who looked at animals and saw something different. It's why somebody looked at a wolf and saw the glimmer of recognition, of friendship, and recognized they're no different than us. They live in packs, they take care of their own, they're very loyal, they have a great communication system that, you know what, I can even understand. Because there's something called vocal convergence. And this is another one of those, oh my goodness, overlaps. A lot of people spend a long time trying to figure out what it is that makes humans different, better, separate, when if they had just quit tripping over themselves, they would have been looking at the incredible overlap in the brain that makes us so similar, which is why we can understand that our dog wants to go out. That, it is not impossible to understand the communication and the needs of another animal any more than it is another human, because most of that runs on nonverbal communication, not words. Words almost gum everything up, and do most of the time. So we share this ability to understand the nonverbal communication of all sorts of creatures if you pay close attention, and that's what you have been doing. And when you pay close attention, oh my gosh, you learn lots of things, and that's why it hurts you when you know that animals are being treated in a certain way when maybe other people don't, because you have dared to look closely. And it is that quality of attention, that focus, that maternal focus, that you stared long and hard enough until these things were revealed to you and you no longer could sit still. You had to get up and say something. So the two things I want to talk about today, because I'm talking to this group, are this main chemical that supports the human-animal bond is called oxytocin. And it's the same chemical that supports mother-infant bonding in all social mammal species. And oxytocin is getting a lot of press, and it's thank goodness, because it'll help you, it helps me, it helps the animals. It doesn't just bring us closer together and make us want to touch each other, which is what it does. Touch releases more of it. All kinds of friendly, social, nurturing, sensory contact, a smile, a hug, the smell of a baby, the sound of its cooing, all release oxytocin in us. Now, imagine all those friendly, social, warmth, all of these things, all the nice things. Animals embody all of that. And they are turning out, the science has shown, we now have 5 good studies that show that oxytocin is released in the human brain by contact, friendly contact. In all these cases, it's with dogs that the studies have been conducted, but it's going to be the same in all of the animals. Anytime you have loving, friendly approach and contact, your brain and the dog's brain are flooded with oxytocin, and there's your bond. And it is why they're our best friend. In fact, babies, of course, release it strongly, but a mother worries a lot. We all worry about our children a great deal. And that can kind of complicate the issue a little bit.